Hey, here's the biggest question that I have for all of you. Is this setup going to be better than the old one? I don't know. Let's find out on this episode of Cars in Detail. Okay, so what we're going to do first is going to unbox everything. You're going to see it with me in real time. I've never opened this yet, obviously, as you can see. So I'm hoping, and I believe pretty strongly, that this new setup should be dramatically better than my current crappy big box store pressure washer setup. So let's take a look. So we're going to open this guy up. So this here is the Uberflex pressure washer hose. And what I currently have is a Flexzilla hose, which, looking at this one, is a lot, well, maybe not a lot thinner, but it is thinner than this one. And certainly I like the bright blue color. So let's take a look what this looks like. I mean, I know it's just a hose, but take a look at the quality of this thing. So right off the bat, what I notice is it's got a much thicker construction than the Flexzilla hose that I've got. It's definitely a bit stiffer. That could be partly because it's brand new, but it's definitely a lot stiffer and thicker. So that's a win, I think. Okay, then what I got here, this is a quick connect kit. The idea that I had was I can connect this so I don't have to keep screwing them on and off every single time when I want to disconnect and put away the pressure washer. So I'm hoping that this will make that a bit easier. So let's take a look. Okay, so it's got some nice O-rings, warranty card. Oh, comes with detailed pictures. But basically, if I'm correct, this should just screw in like so. No, that's for the hose, I guess. I guess this, oh, here we go. So that goes in like so. And then you can just quick disconnect and quick connect. Great. Okay. So we'll put that aside and we'll get to the good stuff. So this is the MaxFlow MPro25 pressure washer. It is an electric unit, and part of the reason why I wanted to get this was because it does 1500 psi, which is pretty good, but it's the 2.5 gallons per minute apparently that this can do. Watched a bunch of YouTube videos on it, and the consensus was that it's a pretty good machine. So that's great, but specs aside, the other reason why I picked this was because you can actually change the oil on this. It comes with a serviceable oil that you can fill and refill, so that it should, in theory, extend the life of this. And it is, I think the warranty on it is 3 years, which is phenomenal. So let's take a look at this. Okay, let's crack it open. Got a nice dull X-Acto knife here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so what's this? Quick start guide. Register your warranty now, blah, blah, blah. Comes with an Allen key and some kind of wire thing. I don't know. Don't know what that is. We'll come back to that. Okay, well packaged. Okay, it is a little heavier than my current setup. Wow, it's got its own GFI. Pretty sweet. So it's got its own little circuit breaker, which is pretty awesome. One of the other reasons why I chose this particular pressure washer was this allows you to adjust the flow and the pressure with a dial, which I thought was pretty great. So let's take a look. Okay, now this is the generation 2 of the MaxFlow MPro25. Apparently it has better software that makes it work better. I don't know. My initial impression is that this thing looks pretty wild. It looks pretty good. It does say right here, fill oil before operating. So let's figure that out. Oh yeah, comes with the oil. And I got a Clarify-phobic freebie from the website that I ordered it from, Carzilla, for you Canadians, because I spent over $100. So thank you, Carzilla. Okay, so now we got to fill the oil. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so I just read the instructions in the quick start guide, and it says to turn this over and use the 4mm Allen wrench that they provided to fill the oil. So let's do that. So this is the, sorry, I don't know if you can see that. This is some kind of tool that came with it. Not really sure what that's about, but let's, okay, we'll put that aside and let's flip this thing over. Okay. Okay, so you guys can see that? Yeah, okay. So it says to, I guess you gotta take this out here. Okay. I will say the whole thing feels very beefy and well made, if that makes sense. Okay. And then they give you the oil. Not sure what viscosity this takes. Doesn't say. I think I remember reading it was like a 15W something or other, 1540 or something like that. Doesn't seem very thick. And looks like we need to cut a hole in that, I think. Gotta poke a hole in it. Yeah. There we go. One thing I will say, it doesn't tell you say how much. I'm assuming it's all of it. I don't know. Oh. Okay, this doesn't, if you screw it down too far, it just keeps going. So I guess that's as far as you can go. So you got to be careful with that. And I read that you got to be kind of got to squeeze it a little. Otherwise it's going to take forever, but kind of overflows a little if you do that. Okay, so this is going to take a while. We'll be back. Okay, I have been doing this now for about 5 minutes, and as you can see, it's like maybe this much that has filled. And not only that, if I try to squeeze it, it gets all this oil around here. I just want to make sure you guys can see this. So a little dribble of oil will come out of this bottle. So can't squeeze too hard because it makes a mess. And I'm trying not to make a mess. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going as slowly and carefully as I can. Okay, so hopefully you can see that this thing is making a big mess. So I'm going to try putting a little bit of Teflon tape on the, oops. I'm going to try putting a little bit of Teflon tape onto the bottle nozzle and see if that makes any kind of a difference, because I'm just making a bit of a mess. So let's see if that helps. Okay, let's try again. Okay, it's definitely coming out. I'm not getting the random drips anymore, so I think the Teflon tape helped a little. So pro tip, try that. And I am now able to actually squeeze the bottle without oil going everywhere, so that's helpful. Okay, yeah, we're making good progress now. Like, I'm about halfway done the bottle. Good. Curious what kind of oil this takes, because at some point I'll need to change it. I think if I recall, you're supposed to change it every 80 hours. So, I mean, it'll be a long time before I get to that. But what my plan was to maybe change it at the end of every season, just because. I don't know. Maybe, you know, drain out the oil, put fresh oil in, run the pump saver stuff through it. Not sure. That was kind of what I was thinking, though. Let me know if any of you out there who have one, let me know what you guys do. Okay. Okay, we'll come back. Okay, just about finished. In fact, that is the last of it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it definitely does take the entire bottle. Not sure how big that is. Oh, it says on the side here, 300 mils. So about 1/3 of a liter, roughly. Okay, it definitely helped putting the Teflon tape on the bottle so that it wouldn't leak and I could actually squeeze it out faster, and that seemed to be the trick to filling it up a bit quicker. Okay, so now just got to put the drain plug back in. I'm assuming this is just snug. So yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, well that's it. So it should be now ready to use. So now we can take this outside and give it a shot. Now this little guy did come with some other stuff, some nice stickers. Stickers add horsepower. And we'll just take these things off. Oh God, guess we need some kind of tool to get that off. I'm not gonna get that off with that. Okay, so this just unscrews. Yeah, okay. Might keep those for storage for the winter, so I'll set those aside. And I notice in here, let me just zoom in here. So you can see here that there's actually a nice mesh screen here. So that's kind of nice. So the water will be a little bit more filtered, I guess, coming out. And I've got oil everywhere. But anyway, yeah, looks like a pretty solid unit. So like I was saying before, this here is where you can adjust the pressure. And it's digital, so it automatically adjusts the flow and everything for you, depending on what you want to set it to. Well, I'm outside now, and here is the old pressure washer. And I will say it is significantly lighter than the new one, like maybe by, I don't know, 10 pounds or something. But that also means the old one is significantly cheaper, in my opinion. Now, there is also the green Flexzilla hose versus the new Uberflex. Obviously, the Flexzilla hose is obviously dirty. And now that I've got them outside, they do feel pretty similar in terms of the thickness and the construction. You can see them side by side here. They're probably the exact same. The ends also seem to be similar. So yeah, hopefully it'll work fine. This is the new guy. It's all filled with oil. I did have a slight issue with a bunch of oil that came out after I turned it right side up. I didn't film it because it was kind of spilled everywhere. I thought maybe I had cross-threaded the drain plug, but I didn't. And I thought maybe it wasn't tight enough, but it was. So I think it just was oil that had seeped under the plastic, maybe? Not sure. Anyway, I'm gonna hook up this old guy, test it so you guys can hear it, and then we'll test it against this one. Now, what are we gonna be using it on? So you can definitely see now, hopefully. This thing is absolutely disgusting. This is my wife's van. I have been neglecting it for quite a while, probably a few weeks, and it is really, really dirty. You can see there's all kinds of crap on it. There's from our tree that's fallen off. The wheels are covered in brake dust. Tires are dirty. So yeah, gotta clean this guy and get it hopefully looking a lot better. You can see there's a lot of streaks there. It's dirty. So we will do our best to get this thing clean. But you can see I have got my work cut out for me. Here's the front wheels. And you can see everything is really dirty. All right, let's get to work. Okay, well first I'm gonna test the old pressure washer, and you'll be able to hear it because it's loud as you know what, and then we'll switch it over. We'll try the new one. Okay, I've got the new MaxFlow set up. I noticed the hose is leaking slightly, but I'm guessing it's just not tight enough, so we'll just ignore that. So, but let's give this a try and see how it compares to the old one. That's what it does when it's in a certain mode. Much quieter. Awesome. Okay, so I have rinsed the car off and applied the fallout remover, which you can see the car is basically purple now. So you can see there's a ton of crud that is being removed all over, especially on the back. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So, funny enough, this side doesn't seem to be as bad, but okay, we're gonna rinse this off real quick, and we'll be back. Okay, so you can see everything looks nice and clean. She looks nice and clean. Look at that. Oh yeah, some drips there that I forgot to dry. That's okay. Looks pretty good. Everything's nice and clean. everything looks good. Okay, we won't shoot you on camera, but what do you think, hon?
Looks great.
Excellent.
The new
Okay.
pressure washer is like 80%, 90% quieter.
Okay. Wife says the new pressure washer is 80, 90% quieter. Well, that's great. Hey there. So my final thoughts on the new setup with the MaxFlow pressure washer. Obviously, the biggest benefit is that this thing is way, way quieter than the old big box store Spyder 2050. Power-wise, I think that it definitely pushes a lot more water flow. It's hard to say 100%. On paper, it should be a lot more. PSI-wise, technically the old one is higher, supposedly, but it's lower in gallons per minute. So I think it's kind of a wash there, maybe, no pun intended. But I think that overall, it's going to be a much better unit. It's definitely built better. It has a much heavier, beefier feel to it. Just feels like a more quality piece. And the fact that you can change the oil, I guess that just means that it's going to technically last longer, and it should have serviceable parts inside, unlike the other one, which once it dies, it dies. It's just disposable. So is it worth it? I think so. We'll have to see. It's definitely a lot heavier, like I said. It's not as convenient because it doesn't have the little things for rolling up the cord and hanging off the pressure washer guns and stuff like that. So it's not as convenient, and it doesn't roll, obviously. But otherwise, I think it's going to be a great new addition to my cleaning flow. Anyways, I hope you really enjoyed this video, and thanks so much for watching and doing it for the love of cars. We'll see you next time.